It's the DownbeachBUZZ Podcast for April 10, 2026. On this beautiful day, Margate, Ventnor, Longport, Brigantine, Summers Point. We love all these shore towns. We love the Down Beach area. Sherry Lilienfeld from eXp Realty. She powers this podcast. Buy, sell, residential, commercial. You need a buyer's agent. You need somebody with engineering background in regards to purchasing or selling your property. Sherry Lilienfeld. Go to realtysherry.com. And the podcast also sponsored by Paul Scollage of rate.com. He's the money man. Buy, sell, whatever it is, residential. Maybe you need an adjustable rate mortgage. Paul Scollage from rate.com. Sherry Lilienfeld, are you there?
I'm here.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
You have any idea what we're going to do today?
I never have an idea what we're going to do today. You're always full of surprises.
You can trust me. These are some of the topics. Everyone's, faxing in and they're writing emails and carrier pigeon. These are some of the topics. You tell me which one you want to dive into. So what's this whole idea of buying the listing? Some kind of a weird thing where a realtor might go in and buy the listing? That sounds odd. And do we really need buyer's agents? And maybe new construction in Margate. We have photographs of a whole bunch of new construction, both residential and commercial. What should we get involved with first, Sherry Lilienfeld?
Well, we could start with I don't know if buying the listing is the official term. It's the concept is where someone wants to sell their property and they talk to multiple realtors, and the realtor might know that they're in a competitive situation. So they're going to tell the seller what they want to hear, as opposed to what's really the best advice, meaning what the real market price would be. I.e., everyone wants to get the best price, highest price, but listing your house or your property at a price higher than what the market will bear is not a good idea. And we could talk about why that is. So,
didn't you count some of the available inventory in Margate and you compared it to Ventnor? Tell us about that story, that weird phenomenon.
Oh yeah. So whenever I do these numbers every month, I do them, and always Ventnor has less listings than Margate. Always. Margate's always in the high 50s. Ventnor's in the high 40s, maybe low 50s. So today when I did it, it was weird. Both Ventnor and Margate have 58 listings, which is so odd. But the other oddity about it is I also do a 30-day look at what went under contract. What went under contract in Ventnor and Margate in the last 30 days. And what I found is in the last 30 days, Ventnor had 10 properties go under contract. And Margate had 10 properties go under contract. I just really feel like I need to play the lottery or Powerball with number 58 and number 10. I mean, that's just crazy. And then also closely related to that is what the average price is, or I actually look at the median price of what's going under contract. And even though there's all these houses, 2 million, 3 million, 10 million, what's going under contract, the median price in Margate was 1.228, and in Ventnor was about 1 million. They're very close. So Margate and Ventnor are so close now with their inventory, with what's going under contract, with the pricing of what's going under contract. But anyway, if you're going to play Powerball or something, number 58 and 10 are the numbers today, which is crazy.
All right, tell us the story about why you need a buyer's agent. I think the story goes something like this. Sherry goes in this is the evil Sherry, your evil twin you never met, but you go into a bank. So evil Sherry goes into a bank and tries to rob it, has the video security cameras and all that. And she gets caught. And then the bank says to evil Sherry, you're a little short on cash, obviously. You want to share our lawyer? You could use our attorney to prosecute you. You'd be okay with that to save money, right? So use our attorney. How would you answer to that?
Yeah. So obviously you would never have the same attorney represent the plaintiff and defendant, right? Not a good idea. Yet in real estate, it's so odd that you can have the same agent representing buyer and seller who have completely different interests. Buyer wants to get the property, the best value, lowest price, and the seller wants to get the highest price, right? So, but in real estate, you can do that. So a lot of people believe that when they go to the listing agent, they don't want to get a buyer's agent. They're going to go right to the listing agent. And they do that because they think, well, I'm going to get a better price. I'm getting a better price because the agent's going to have both sides. So they'll cut the deal and then I'll get a better price. So yes, you might end up inking a lower price than possibly what you would get with a buyer's agent. But let's think about this. You're going to spend $2, $3, $4 million, $5 million on a house at the shore, and you're going to have an agent represent you who actually cannot fully represent you. Because once an agent becomes a dual agent, they actually can't represent anyone the same way. It's not the same type of representation. They're limited in telling you anything about the seller. They're limited. The only thing they can disclose, they are supposed to disclose material defects about a property. That will happen at any time, but they're not going to do the digging. They're not going to advise you the same way. They can give you comps, but they can't give you advice. They can provide you information, limited information, but they can't give you advice. So I just don't understand. And in the end, you usually don't get the best price because, again, they're also representing the seller who's trying to get the higher price. So I don't understand the logic. Why wouldn't you have a buyer's agent represent you when you are investing this kind of money, regardless of how much money? If it was $300,000, you'd still want a buyer's agent represent you.
Sustainable Sherry, can I jump in real quick?
Yes, you can.
There's an email that came in from our good friend Catherine Horn, commissioner in the beautiful town of Margate. It seems as if you and her are going back and forth. Even Police Chief Matt Hankinson of Margate, she's teaming up with Kathy and I guess the mayor, Mike Collins, and you. And they're big fans of Down Beach Buzz. They always read every word we write, and it's good. We appreciate that because Chief Matt stepped up and sent you a letter about e-bike enforcement. As you know, the other day, I almost got clobbered. I get clobbered almost every day, like near misses. But yesterday's near miss was insanely horrifying. 30 miles per hour, dude on his iPhone, hands, not holding the handlebars.
Oh, gosh.
And it's going along pretty quick. And he's just not paying attention. He was weaving in and out of people. Someone's going to get really, really, really hurt. Yeah. It's already illegal to have a motorized vehicle on the boardwalk because the boardwalk is a pedestrian first roadway. So let's read this. Good morning, Sherry. I like that. It's a good start. This is from Chief Hankinson from the city of Margate. Commissioner Horn and I continue. Let me just show you the actual, by doing something to this effect. Let me say, that kind of works. Commissioner Horn and I continue to monitor the legislation recently passed regarding motorized bicycles, commonly referred to as e-bikes, within the 6-month grace period expiring coming up this July. Many operators are still unaware of the new law. So this law is already in effect, but there's a 6-month grace period because it's new to everybody. But I believe the people who got to really get their thoughts in gear would be local enforcement. That's the only way you're going to do it. Getting back to the email from Matt Hankinson to Sustainable Sherry Lilienfeld. The Margate City Police Department is going to enforce the new statute as it does to all Title 39 violations, which govern all vehicle violations, until the expiration of the grace period. We're working to educate the parents of young riders of the new law. Additionally, Chief Hankinson says, many of our summer visitors from out of state may not be aware of the new law. We believe a coordinated approach of both education and enforcement will be the most successful with our residents who utilize motorized bicycles. If you have any other additional questions or concerns, please contact me. Matt, Well, you guys are that tight. He calls himself Matt, not Chief Matt or anything. That's nice.
All right,
He should.
stop.
He would be a really good guest on the Margate, the Margate segment of the Down Beach Buzz podcast.
Absolutely.
What do you think? Can you work on that? Can you work on that,
him.
please? Yeah, get Matt going on there. I like him. He's a good guy. He's a very
So
nice man. And
they did talk about the e-bikes at the commissioners' meetings a number of months ago. Actually, yes, with any law, education, any law, and like the construction dust containment law that I'm very actively involved in. The most important part is the education, because usually once people are educated, they will follow the law. A lot of people just aren't educated. So I think the approach is great. And yeah, they don't want to be giving tickets out to kids and parents. They want them to just understand the law. So my guess is there will be warnings, and then there will be enforcement. But yeah, everyone needs to be aware that, you shouldn't have these e-bikes on the boardwalk. They're motorized vehicles. They're dangerous. Someone is going to get hurt. And I'm sorry that you experienced that. So.
Would you like me to listen? I'm not always bitching and complaining. Sometimes I provide solutions. May I share a few with you now? Sustainable, Sherry?
Yes. And I love when you call me sustainable, Sherry.
We can talk about that later. But anyway, so some of the things that can reduce the chance of somebody getting seriously hurt from an e-bike going 30 miles an hour, big, heavy bike. Number one, enforcement. You do have to let people know there will be a downside if we catch you up there with a motorized vehicle on the pedestrian first boardwalk. And I I'm not trying to belittle Margate, but I do believe Atlantic City and Ventnor's boardwalk, they got to get their act together, because that's where most of the activity of bike riding happens. And then of course it spills over to Margate, Longport, and all that kind of stuff, Brigantine. I get that. But if you focus on the boardwalk, because everybody is buying these bikes because it's so much fun to ride 30 miles an hour on a motorcycle up and down a pedestrian boardwalk. But the first thing you got to do is you have to do the easy stuff first. You said education. I suggest easier to see, more legible, more bold signage that says, don't ride your e-bike up here. You will be nabbed and potentially fined. And where do you put the signs? Everywhere? No, you put them on Jackson Avenue, where Atlantic City and Ventnor change over, and then you put them somewhere around the Ventnor fishing pier, and then maybe around the playground, the library of Ventnor, and then maybe all the way up by Fredericksburg. You don't have to have them everywhere, but they can't be these small signs where they squeeze everything in there. They got to be big and bold, and but classy and kind of just enough. So we really don't do a great job of teaching people because you don't read that stuff. Number two is that they're putting up brand new light poles and they're running new electric on the new Ventnor boardwalk. Part of the goal was to have better lighting, but also possibly a few security cameras. And I'm not suggesting security cameras every block like Atlantic City, Marty Small, but at least a couple of security cameras, Ventnor Fishing Pier, Fredericksburg, maybe right there at the border of Ventnor and Atlantic City. Because right now, everybody in Atlantic City, the public safety folks, they know who's violating these laws. They have high definition video of all the violators. They have them all. And chances are, because I am a conspiracy theorist, right, Sherry Lilienfeld, tinfoil hat wearing guy, I believe that the video they capture on those almost every block in Atlantic City on the boardwalk, they probably have AI identifiers. They can kind of zoom in. If I was in charge of those cameras, I would want to be able to identify people that might have a warrant out, or maybe they're on a motorized vehicle going way too fast. Even on regular bikes, I believe if people are riding recklessly and riding too fast on a regular bike, they should get some kind of warning, some kind of citation, just something. But there's really almost nothing going on. So using all the security equipment that's already on the boardwalk in Atlantic City, and from what I understand, I don't know how close Ventnor and Atlantic City work together in terms of their law enforcement. I don't know that answer. But we do share a boardwalk, and that is something. Because Marty Small, hold your breath. He doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Sherry, at one time, were you ever a bike rider? You do a lot of running, I know.
Well, and I did triathlons, the triathlon sprints. Don't get too excited. Those are the short ones. Yes, but do you know, I'm so afraid just to ride a regular bike here in season. I have friends that ride regularly, and they know people that have gotten killed, not here locally, but Florida, just riding their bikes along the roads in a pack, like they're in a pack of people. So yes, I love to ride. When I ride, I like to go up to I think it's exit 48, where there's no one around, there's no cars. Like that's how I like to ride, where I'm not afraid I'm going to get hit by a car or have a pedestrian run in front of me with a baby stroller or something. I like to ride for the workout, like for the speed. So it's not good to do that here. It's just not conducive. And I'm not doing it on the boardwalk. Yeah, there's lots of people there. I would never ride my bike on the boardwalk like the way I like to ride it, which is for a workout and speed.
I do think that a part of the solution in Ventnor and in Margate, especially on the boardwalk, is that you do have to have the officials, the department heads, the commissioners. They should go up on the boardwalk on a Saturday morning at 9 and spend a few hours and see for themselves. Because it's very rare I see politicians or people in power along the shore, at least here in the Down Beach area. I don't see them a ton on the boardwalk. Oh, I do see Maurice. He likes to walk. Maurice, my good friend Maurice. And you know who that is, right?
Well, better known as Maury.
Maury who?
Blumberg.
And what's his deal?
He's one of the commissioners at Margate, but he likes to do his walks.
He loves to walk.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, no, I think one day when I saw him, I think he did something like this when I was walking by. What?
Sorry. Like I said, you're always full of surprises.
No, he's very nice. Everybody likes Maury. He's the guy that people like. Anywho, let's just get this. And that past 30 seconds was brought to you by Jersey Doors. That's right, Jersey Doors. Don't let the door hit you on the ass on the way out. Maury should really run for mayor again. He really should. Can you and me become his campaign managers?
We're not talking politics.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not either.
No.
Can we talk about how important it is to find the proper door for your new construction property? And who would I call if I needed a door? Let's say I hired Troy Rosenzweig for new construction. You're my buyer's agent. I need a guy who knows doors up and down. Who should I reach out to?
Maury. Jersey Doors. Yes.
All right. I always know when Maury's on the boardwalk. I see the Jersey Doors truck somewhere.
Yeah.
It's always double parked, blocking somebody in, fire hydrant.
No, it's not.
Oh,
Stop.
I'm
Stop. Don't spread false information.
No, it's obviously a joke because Maury is the most trusted guy in the whole entire city of Margate, right? Probably.
No comment.
Okay.
Not gonna.
I like him. I like him.
No, I like him, but by saying that, you're implying the opposite, that the other
I think
people
they're
are not trustworthy. And
I did not say that.
Well, you said the most trusted.
He's up there, and he's one of the top 3 in my book.
Top 3, okay, that's a good answer.
All right, let's stop messing around. And the most important part of today is I wanted to show you my photo gallery that I took yesterday on April 9. That's a Thursday, obviously. And I said, it's a nice day. I'll take my bike and I will ride into Margate and Ventnor up and down because when it's cold, I ride through it in my car. But a bike, you really get to see everything. Even though they're on occasion, especially when I move into Ventnor and Margate, I could swear people are trying to, ride in to take their car and try to whatever. But the things I've noticed, Sherry, what am I looking at right now in Ventnor? That beautiful blacktop. What is that?
Impervious, but that's not what you were talking about.
What am I looking at? What am I looking at?
This is the new pickleball court. Well, they're redoing the tennis and pickleball courts in Ventnor. Yeah. Your favorite hangout spot.
Yeah.
I bet you can't wait till pickleball season is fully
Yeah.
active again.
So we're looking at how far along they've come. So they've already laid down blacktop. And this area that we're looking at right now will be, I believe, 4 tennis courts. And then at the far end of this photo will be 3 new pickleball courts. So they're coming along. It looks like it's going to be an opening date somewhere prior to Memorial Day weekend. So that's good news. It really looks like it's coming along quickly. I don't know if they're going to finish the courtyard. I kind of didn't remember that they are redoing the courtyard as well. That's in between the playground and the basketball court and the tennis courts and the pickleball and all that. So quickly, let me just show you some photographs here of some of the stuff I saw yesterday. Drainage area.
Yeah, I
Drainage
noticed that. Yeah, super
installation.
important.
Everyone's excited. And right now they're all closed, but it's fun to watch. I go up there almost every day just to go by. And I saw a guy up there doing some measuring, I guess taping off where the pipes are going to be, where the nets are going to be, where the lines are going to be painted on. That's an amazing job to build. I think I talked to this gentleman for just a little bit. There's a lot of business doing basketball courts and pickleball courts and tennis courts now. It's he's a busy bee. Let me see. Give you some different angles.
Was that drainage there before?
This is all brand new drainage. Was it there before? I don't know that answer.
Mm.
That's a good question. I keep on going in the wrong direction. I'm sorry. Hold on. And you can see that they are finishing up phase 1 of the Ventnor Boardwalk rebuild, starting to remove some of the heavy equipment. A lot of the stuff's already been down, has been completed in phase 1. Phase 1, it's going to go probably take at least 3 phases, and we already have 2 phases funded, if I'm not mistaken. So here are some photographs, and you can see there's less pilings and wood, and it looks like they're packing up their heavy equipment, which is kind of cool. I don't know why they put the restrooms V. I always think of V for Vendetta, that great movie, one of my favorite all-time movies. Some background on what we're looking at. Everything's locked down, but it's going to be a great Memorial Day weekend. Everything's going to be fresh and shiny, brand new. And here is how awesome the boardwalk looks. So you can see them putting up railing.
Beautiful.
The planks are already down. You can't walk on here yet, but you can certainly see where they are at this point. If I'm not mistaken, they're just finishing up railings, and then they're going to put light posts and light poles, and then do the electricity and the lamps and all that. And the lamps and the lighting has been really well thought out. It's not going to be too bright. The lights aren't going to be too high. They're going to be just right. I recall them spending a fair amount of time making sure they got that right. They don't want to be blinding people in the houses right next door. Crazy, huh? This is
Wow.
Dorset Avenue. All new pilings underneath, too. All that stuff was rotted out. And if I'm not mistaken, a good bit of the boardwalk in Ventnor, a lot of that stuff came from the rebuild of like 1963, 1964, when everything got just whacked out. So a lot of this new wood was in desperate need of replacing these planks and these. It's kind of weird seeing a beautiful boardwalk and there's no one on it.
Yeah, really.
But
Don't worry.
underneath the pilings.
Yeah, beautiful job. No, that's all super important. We wouldn't want anyone to have fallen through, that's for sure.
Prior to this, when they dug them all up, they were nasty. Some of them were totally rotted out. It's amazing that the boardwalk even stayed open and stayed in one piece.
Yeah, so just a point on that. So when Atlantic City did the boardwalk, one of Sustainable Sherry's friends is Greg Alashino, who takes old homes and repurposes it. He had a deal with the contractors doing the Atlantic City boardwalk where he took the old planks and he used them in new decking. And they were beautiful, but Ventnor couldn't do that because they were just so rotted. You could not reuse them, unfortunately. So they had to go into a landfill. But sometimes you can take the old planks and reuse them and repurpose them into new decking for houses and stuff. And it's beautiful. But Yeah, Ventnor's planks were not in any condition to be reused.
So I thought I would also show you a couple of photographs. I love Marvin Gardens in the springtime. It's the best. It's awesome. Let
Yeah.
me see if I can get this going right. I don't need a circle of me. Let's just do that. But right now you see the daffodils coming up. You see the early stages, I think, of tulips, if I'm not mistaken. I thought, and people are planting in their planters pansies. But yeah, springtime in Margate and Ventnor is just spectacular. It's just so nice. And I love riding through there. Sherry, what am I looking at right now? It's a big, giant, whatever it is in the middle of town. Can you explain this, please?
Sure. So for those people who have not been here in a while, that is the former location of Billy Ho's, the Chinese restaurant.
Where is the cross streets there?
Douglas and Ventnor Avenue. And you might remember Billy Ho's was this pink building with a lot of parking. And this is what's going there. Your typical new commercial space below and residential above.
Yeah, we need more of that, don't we? Don't we need more of that in Ventnor and Margate? We could just the more the better. What do you think?
I think we need more green space. Sorry.
Well, wait a second. Sherry, if I can.
Yeah.
That parking lot, the parking lot that's been built that still hasn't been paved. I think I overheard that they're going to put a little park-like setting in there. That's part of the plan. When's that start? Because I had told you I would have a nice picnic lunch for you and me and maybe Maury to come over and enjoy the park-like setting at that parking lot that hasn't been paved yet. What do you think?
So that park, well, they've been trying to get a contractor. First of all, I think they should leave it as stones. I think it's fine. It's perfectly fine the way it is. It's pervious, which is really important.
Oh, let me get the picture. Hold on. I love talking about this parking lot because it's just
a lot of controversy.
Well, it's not even controversy. It's more unanswered questions. Let me see. Where the hell did I hide this thing? You can keep talking, okay? So I will find this.
The city has been trying to get a contractor to agree to do the paving. The city has, and Ed Dennis, the city engineer, has assured me there's a parking lot. See, I think it's fine, just gravel. But what I ask them every time I go to the meeting is, are you going to make this pervious space? Meaning,
pervious means.
I'm getting there.
Give me a second. But I'm hanging out here, and I just know that you have things
that water can go through it. Most asphalt, the water, it cannot go through it like a sponge. But if it's pervious, it's made in a certain way where water can drain through it, which is super important, especially when we're on an island where flooding is an issue. So you want as much space as possible that's not covered in concrete or a house or pavers where you cannot get water drainage. Right now, this is perfect water drainage. You have gravel, stone. And I said, leave it. They're like, no, because it becomes a problem when it snows, or if you want to pave it, or not pave it, like if there's snow and you want to.
I can see the snow. I can see the snow being an issue. Yeah.
Yeah, with plowing. But the plan is, so they're still trying to get a contractor to do it. Number one. Number two is the plan has a little sitting area part. I don't know where they're going to put it without taking away parking spots. Again, I love the idea of some outdoor space, like a little park, whatever. But then again, you need the parking. So there's benefits and drawbacks. Do you want less parking spots so you can have a little bench out there? Or I think just put a bench out. I don't know. I love the idea of it, but I don't think it's practical. I think make as many parking spots as possible. No paving company. Who said that? You did?
There's a ton of email coming in right now. People are freaking out. They're very they're not angry. They're just confused. Why is it so difficult to find somebody to pave this? Is it radioactive or what?
I'm not sure why, because maybe it's because in the specs it is that it's going to be pervious asphalt. And honestly, it's a shame, but the contractors in this area, I don't even think they know, because it's a skill. Like, you have to have lots of layers. You have to know what you're doing. You don't just come in, dump some stuff and spread it out. Like, you have to know what you're doing. And I asked Ed, is it because of that specification? And he told me no. But I don't know. I don't know why it's so difficult. You'd think there'd be like 20 contractors wanting to do this.
Well, I mean, obviously Ventnor was able to lay down asphalt and do all that paving with the Ventnor pickleball and tennis courts. They pulled that one off. But sustainable sherry.
Yes.
It just seems very odd that they can't. I mean, I guess the pavers are they have too much business. They're making too much money. They have no time for a nice, relatively easy job. Or maybe they think there's some kind of something underneath the surface, because there were tanks under there. There's some venting and all that. But our good friend, Ed Dennis, the engineer, you would assume that he could explain that. But I would like to take just a few moments with Sherry Lilienfeld of EXP Realty on the DownbeachBUZZ podcast. And I'd like to maybe set up a GoFundMe, or just pause. Pause and say a prayer, because at this point in time, Margate typically can almost accomplish anything, develop anything. You might have a piece of land about 5 inches wide. They can figure out a way of developing it and sucking out ratables. But here, we can't pave this. They send it out and nobody wants to do it. Nobody wants to do it. Sherry, that's what I'm getting. This is all the documentation of all the people that have mailed me, and people still mail us. But more importantly, Sherry, I lost my train of thought, but I just thought not being able to find a paver, that sounds like complete, come on.
Yeah. Okay. So they went out to bid twice. I think the first time they didn't get any bids. I don't know. The second
that
time
doesn't make any sense.
I know. Okay. The second time, they had one bidder that they rejected. I don't know why. Maybe the price was ridiculous. And then they're negotiating with that bidder. So
that's kooky talk. Listen, we're not trying to be jerks about it, but sometimes things are discussed at a commission meeting that just makes no sense. Like, for example, out of all the people that run a business and execute business in Margate, they all have to be registered. They all have to have a mercantile. But for some reason, landscapers get a pass. I can't figure that one out. I think they should get passes because, well, I don't know, maybe people need a break, but that's a weird one they couldn't explain. And the only thing that I recall is my good friend, the city clerk, Johanna. She mentioned they were gypsies, and that played a role in let it slide. But I was more concerned about Sherry Lilienfeld and her house. What if somebody right next door got one of these landscapers that were no mercantile, no insurance, no registration? We don't know who they are. And they all of a sudden, they're on the side of your yard and they damage something. Maybe a rock flies out of their mower. Who do you sue? How do you find them? They're not registered. Am I kooky? I know I'm kooky, but I'm always looking out for you. That's all. I'm always looking out for you.
The point you're making is the landscapers should all be registered, licensed, and insured.
I know, jeez.
Right? I agree. And yes, they are very close. So one of the things the Margate Green team is working on are the gas blowers.
Oh.
I'm surprised no one is outside right now with the gas blower, because we're doing the podcast. And yes, we're right next to our neighbors. And then you hear this gas blower. And honestly, did you ever watch? Our yards are so small. What a waste of energy. I think it would be a lot faster for them to rake than to blow this stuff around and around and around and around and eventually try to collect it.
Yeah.
It's just a waste. So you're saying, well, what are the options? Well, there's electric leaf blowers that are much better for the environment. So now you're getting sustainable sherry. Sustainable sherry's coming. You start talking about landscapers, then I'm going off on my sustainable sherry tangent, which is the gas leaf blowers. They emit a lot of toxic fumes. You're right next to your neighbor. There's noise pollution. There's air pollution. They're so unnecessary. Look, I could see if we had lots that were acres big, but there's tiny little lots with hardly any landscaping. Get a rake out. Come on. So you asked for it.
We love it. All right, Sherry, it's time to stump Sherry, the part of the show where we bring something up and we want to see truly how knowledgeable, sustainable Sherry is about Margate. She knows everything, but on occasion, she might have a couple of synapses that are not, firing properly. Sherry, what property are we looking at here in Margate? This property used to be the home of
the burger truck, the bank, and then the burger truck.
Keep going.
What?
It's not easy. Listen, it's not easy. So I'm kind of putting you on the spot. It's sunny Sunoco, my favorite place.
Oh, right. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, sunny Sunoco. Yes, and they moved to I thought this was an older picture. That's why. Yes, and they moved to Atlantic City.
Sherry?
And now we have new construction here as well.
I would like to see even more possibly unneeded residential and retail right here. I want you to squeeze. Maybe, Sherry, I would like to suggest affordable housing be considered. What do you think?
I'm thinking.
Sherry, just what I said there, I will have more haters as of today than compared to yesterday, But no, the whole affordable housing thing is Margate has not really addressed these mandates for affordable housing, but Ventnor, they complied with the state mandates and state law. So we're not sure if it's good or bad, but we do know one thing. They're side by side, Ventnor and Margate. Ventnor complies with these mandates for affordable housing, whatever they are. But Margate says, nah, you know what, we'll litigate, which could be a better idea, wait and see attitude. So we're not putting it down, but this is sunny Sunoco, and we missed them. It was I always bought gas there. Always got my bike tire filled up with free air.
Yeah. And then
all right, Sherry.
Their free air pump stopped working, and then they never fixed it. That was a sure sign they were going out of business.
Really?
Yeah. Okay.
They always had a big old dog there when you walked in, but it was very nice. And I miss those days, and I think everybody else does. And even though it costs a little bit more money at sunny Sunoco, I went there anyway. You want to support them. All right, Sherry, what am I looking at right now? This mixed use, and we need way more mixed use because we do not have enough unoccupied retail in Margate. Just putting it out there, and Ventnor too.
Yeah, more mixed use.
So what is this? What did this used to be?
I'm trying to. Oh, was this? Wait, I'm looking. Oh, there's the parking lot. Yeah, this was the burger truck.
Yeah, it
was the bank, and then it was the burger truck. Yeah,
it's a beautiful spot, and good thing that you chipped in and all your favorite Margate taxpayers to buy that parking lot that's not paved right next to this. So we wanted to thank you in public.
Okay, stop.
No, but you did support retail. So I wanted to be, especially after the holy days for those who, celebrate the different holidays down here, that we are very appreciative of all the work and how you dug deeper into your pockets to support this new mixed use property here.
Well, I wanted to say something. One thing I noticed about this particular property, though, it's not 3 stories. It's only 2 stories. And if you notice, most of the other ones are 3-story. I'm not quite sure why.
Really? So you think they changed the plans, or do we just not pay attention, or whatever?
No. I think maybe, I just don't know why they decided to do that as a 2-story versus, as you notice, like if you look at the Billy Hose one, it was, 3 stories, a lot higher.
But the most important part of this picture, Sherry Lilienfeld of eXp Realty, mother of 4, chemical engineer, realtor, environmental superhero, sustainable Sherry in her spare time. She has plenty of spare time for that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Okay, yeah. Sherry, what's worth the waste? Worth the waste. What's worth the waste? It's right here on this property that we just looked at. Of course, it's the old Margate burger truck with the insane driver painted onto the side of that building.
Yeah.
That always was Margate. When you looked at that, it was Margate. But what's this? What am I looking at here, Cher?
Jersey cow, baby.
People are raving. People are raving
Oh.
about Jersey Cow, and they just opened recently in Brigantine.
So I drive by the one like on Tilton Road, like after you go off the Margate Bridge to Tilton, and they are crowded. It could be snowing outside and they have lines. It gets crazy. They really get great business.
And it's kind of rare. They promote themselves as being homemade. This is homemade ice cream. Does that mean that some ice cream parlors don't make it? I know of at least another operator that does homemade. It's more pain in the ass to make it. But Jersey Cow's first and foremost marketing position is homemade. I hear nothing but good things about it. People are actually joking, saying, "Oh crap, I'm going to lose 5. I'm going to gain 10 pounds. Damn it!" They're actually everyone's saying that because they go, "God, I can't stop eating it. So good."
I imagine that the other 2 ice cream places in Margate are a little bit nervous.
Yeah, but that's going to bring out a lot of business. And I'm almost done here, there, Lily and Phil.
Yeah, because we are past our time.
Listen, you and I are the eyes and ears for those who pay taxes in Margate and Ventnor and Longport and Brigantine. And we just let you know what you've missed over the past 6, 7, 8, 9 months. We keep you in the loop.
Sure.
And we believe that our leaders, our elected officials are good people. They really are. They occasionally make a mistake. They kind of lose track or lose sight of what they probably should be doing. And you and I are here to guide them gently down the path of righteousness.
John, you know, what's the expression? You could please some of the people some of the time, but you can't please all the people all the time. They're not going to make everybody happy. There will always be criticisms. That's just part of the job. So
that is why we encourage. This is I'll get down off my soapbox, but this is the kind of stuff where we get a lot of page views and a lot of traffic. Believe me, this is the stuff. This is the moneymaker stuff. You know, it's your good looks and me falling off the wagon and just getting into some kind of insane rant. But here again, once again, this is the parking lot that taxpayer funded, and we do think it's going to be a benefit. But
definitely,
you know, what I was going to say is, if you want to do one thing to make your town better, no matter where you live, Brigantine, Ventnor, Margate, you know, Longport, Atlantic City, you got to make sure your town is doing live Zoom video of the planning and zoning meetings. They already do a pretty good job with commission and council meetings. I mean, watching the council meetings in Margate and Ventnor, they're really well done. Good, clear audio, great video, and it personalizes the people. We don't beat them up so much because, they look like you and me. And I slow it down to watch it. John Scott Abbott talking about like the Sunrise Tequila Bar. It's awesome. I can rewind it. I can zoom in because he's such a good storyteller. And I mean that in a good way. He actually explains it in a very clear, concise way. And what's uncomfortable with live Zoom video is somebody watching Mayor Michael Collins of Margate. He sits there quietly and takes it. Whereas in Ventnor, they have a meltdown during public comment. Your time's up. Your time's up. That's 3 minutes. But Mayor Michael Collins wins the award. I'm sure you were aware I was working on this award that I'm going to present to him very soon. And that is, he is the most cool and calm, collected mayor who takes the largest rash of shite during public comment with no cutoffs. He'll let somebody stay out there for 15 minutes and say pretty nasty things to him. And he just sits there quietly, very stoically. So I just thought I would share that. It's not easy to do, to say nothing, because you got to.
I agree. He is.
I know.
He's amazingly patient. Amazingly patient. I don't know how he does it, but he does it.
Whereas neighboring towns, they freak out after anything that makes them sound like, oh no, they're bringing up something that hits a nerve. But with Michael Collins, people say some outrageous things, and I believe some of it not exactly true, and he just lets them talk because that's what you're really supposed to do.
Well, wait, if you want a very entertaining council meeting, gosh, go to an Atlantic City council meeting, man.
I know.
They are colorful. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Anyway, is this the last thing we're going to do about your Johnny Pop?
And
Okay.
one more point. If
Yeah.
you really are serious about keeping an eye on how they're spending your money, and they're doing a good job, but you kind of might want to take a better look, because there's really nobody representing your best interest, because there's no taxpayer association, none of that. And you don't vote, you're second homeowners, you're paying most of the freight for the towns. Everybody pays a lot, but the second homeowners, they pay a little extra. But you really got to make sure that they live stream the commission meetings and the planning and zoning board meetings. A lot of big decisions are made during planning and zoning. And our good friend, my good friend, Margate construction official, Roger McLarnon, he'll admit to you that a lot of big decisions are made during the planning and zoning meetings. And who actually appoints the planning and zoning board? Our good friend, Mayor Michael Collins. He also appoints the school board. And maybe the school board could be live zoomed as well, because you are paying for these great services. Margate has excellent schools, as does Brigantine and Ventnor. But wouldn't you like to see how they're spending the money? And one more point, Sherry, before I talk to our sponsor here about Johnny Pops.
Okay, I want to hear about Johnny Pops. Stop.
Johnny Pops.
Politics. Go ahead.
So you're making me forget. And the reason why you want to keep track of all the meetings, because the school board meeting, the planning and zoning, and the municipal meetings, they make up how your money is all whacked up. You always see the commission meeting, but you rarely see the zoning and planning. Why is that? They have all the equipment there. And then the school board meetings, there's a lot of money being spent in the school board meetings. They do great work. They talk about curriculum and all that. But they have 2 school buildings. And what the school board should be doing, I'm almost done, Sherry. Be patient. I'm on a roll. I'm on a freaking roll here. I'm talking about page views and click-through rates. You got to pay attention to the school board meetings and the planning and zoning and the commission meetings together, and especially about Margate, because they still have 2 schools. And is that a big deal? Well, it really is a big deal when there's a threat of forced mergers, forced consolidation. The governor wants that. The newly appointed Atlantic County and New Jersey education higher-ups, they want consolidation. They don't like these small districts. They want to charge you more. They want you to roll up into the hub of Atlantic City High School. They want you to merge anybody under 500 students. They are likely to be looked at and say, why aren't you doing little shared services with education? And you have 2 schools in Margate. And I know Margate hates it, but Margate should seriously sit down with Ventnor to figure out a way of joining together, because when you bring both of them together, you have over 500 students. Even Ventnor is less than 500 students, and Margate, I think it might be barely 300. So you got to think about that. And if they knock down one of those buildings, Sherry, I'm coming to a crescendo here. If they have to knock down one of those school buildings sometime in the future, because for some reason, Governor Mikey Sherrill was able to force you to send your high school kids to Atlantic City High School, run by Dr. Laquetta Small, married to Marty Small, also known as Mayor McCheese, that's not going to be good. You like that? So that's about it, because I think I should just stop now and just say thank you.
Because once you start talking about Marty and Laquetta, that could be a whole other hour. So I think.
But listen, it's true. It is true. And nobody is talking about it. Now, why do I read this stuff? Because I got plenty of time on my hands. What do I do during the day? I get up, I watch cartoons. What else am I going to do? So I wanted to thank Castles and Howard over there. I walked in yesterday. I missed a place. I haven't seen it in a little while. And I go, I need something sweet. I go in there for sandwiches. I go in there for rice. Oh, the rice pudding, Sherry. The rice pudding. Really good. Really expensive, but worth every dollar. It really is. And some great lunch meat. I went in and got a turkey special. That place is awesome. I just love it. And actually in the off season, there's more sales. So me being the cheapskate, I get in there and get all the sales. But anyway, I wanted to say Down Beach Buzz, the podcast, is brought to you by Johnny Pops. organic sweets. And I had one last night, organic summer sunrise, simple ingredients. You got to keep an eye on. So thank you to Castles for, stocking up on some of these more totally organic, I hope, but they look good. They tasted good, all simple ingredients, none of these food dyes and that garbage. Johnny Pops. And I think I also bought it because the name Johnny Pops.
Yes, those look really good.
They are
Thank
good.
you for sharing. I can't wait to get myself a Johnny Pop.
All right, okay, let me the final thing I'm going to do is the most important thing. So tell us. So let me set the table. This is Sustainable Sherry's website. Now, Sherry does about 16, maybe 17 things every day that she's juggling. You don't know what she's working on. And half of the stuff you've never even heard about. You can't even pronounce it. But one of the likely next items that are going to take up some of Sherry's time, but it's important, is the Sustainable Sherry website, where she talks about going green, protecting the planet. And it really does tie in with her full-time job of being a realtor, because buying a home is more than just buying sticks and bricks and all that. You don't know what's underneath. You don't know that there's chemicals in there and PFAS and all the plastics that get into the environment when you're building your beautiful new home, and people rip down homes. The house has only been there for 5 years, and they bulldoze it to buy more houses and build some big giant McMansion that could potentially be affordable housing. But we're not going to go there. I'm just saying, go to sustainablesherry.com. All kinds of great stories. The ability to, she tackles stories like the Get the Lead Out. You like that little thing? Sherry, tell us about why people should subscribe to sustainablesherry.com.
So the articles I post about are things that affect people every day. Sometimes they're just practical, easy advice, things that you can change that will make a difference in your health, well-being. This article is about what's going on in Margate right now. They're replacing the galvanized lead pipes that are used for our water main and replacing them with copper pipes. And I talk about what they're doing, but also that it's still super important that even though they're doing that, you should still have a point of use water filtration system at your home. And I said this before, you do not know what is happening on the way from the chemical treatment plant, which, by the way, you want to remove those chemicals. They put chlorine in to kill bacteria. Do you really want to be drinking chlorine? That's like drinking pool water. And then it's coming through all these pipes, which are, they were galvanized lead, and then coming into your home. So you want to just ensure that what you are drinking, what is at your tap, going into your cup of water that you're drinking, using in your cooking. Also, I have shower filters. I have things that you can buy to protect yourself. You need to be active in protecting yourself and ensuring that what goes into your body is good. But to your point about how what I do for sustainability also relates to real estate, is the first rule of real estate is location, location, location. People buy at the shore because they love the beauty of the shore. They love the environment. They like to hear the birds. They like to walk on the boardwalk. So it is important to protect our environment and keep it beautiful, because that also affects your real estate value. So it all ties in together. Yes, my passion are environmental issues and that people should make healthy choices, but it also ties in with how I help people invest their money and buy their homes here at the Jersey Shore.
Nicely said. Yes. Very.
Thank you.
And just one final.
Here we go. You're so funny.
Can you hear that?
I cannot, but wait, Tilly's coming. Where's Tilly? There's Tilly. No, I can't hear it. That's so funny.
That we would just end on that one, okay?
Oh, thank you. And I love all your I love your humor and how you so I just want to give you credit because you actually created Sustainable Sherry, the superhero. I didn't ask you to do it. She
You're
just kind of she just kind of evolved. You were playing with AI and trying to have some fun. And then I was like, really? Are you serious? Like, what are you doing? And then I just realized, you know what? I like Sustainable Sherry. And I started having fun with her. And so thank you for that.
you were trapped. I gave it to you whether you liked it or not.
Yeah, and now I embrace her. She's my alter ego. So thank you.
Yeah. And now, because I read your stuff all the time, I'm going, you know what? I got to read every single label, and you see a whole bunch of chemicals that you can't even pronounce. You realize that so much of our processed food is not good for you. Got off of seed oils. Now I just do tallow or olive oil or avocado oil, but there's a lot of bad stuff that makes you sick. And it's not just food. It could be somebody next door and they're sawing all kinds of plastics and it's getting into the air, all these contaminants, construction site cleanup necessary. And it took you a couple of years, but you finally got everybody on board in regards to construction site cleanup. But you were surprised to find out that there were some in the administration in Washington that were starting to wake up to the food stuff, whether it was Bobby Kennedy, what's
microplastics in the water, and that there should be standard. So it's two things. So he's looking at microplastics in water, but then also pharmaceuticals. Like people don't realize it that there's actually pharmaceuticals that get into your drinking water, and the water company, they don't test for those things now. So he's trying to come up with standards and then actually ways to remove those things, again, at the water treatment plant before it then comes to you. But yeah, now he's all over the whole looking closer at our drinking water. So
but I'm afraid it's also it's being politicized. How crazy it is that something that's about health or safety, it has to be politicized. How stupid that is.
Yeah. So, and just in general, I don't like to talk politics. I'm about issues. So I will align with issues, and depending on who's supporting my issues, that's the way I'm going.
Yeah.
And it could be split. So thank you so much for bringing up Sustainable Sherry and my website. But yeah, it is important information. And I believe
one more thing. Just one more thing.
Okay.
I am happy that the new New Jersey governor, Mikey Sherrill, she has lifted the moratorium on nuclear power in New Jersey. And if I'm not mistaken, there might have been 6 power plants over the years that Governor Murphy was ruling. He may have decommissioned or shut off or whatever, or knocked down. But it's interesting that she's lifting the moratorium because nuclear power, even though it sounds scary, it's one of the safest, and it reduces or eliminates our reliance on Middle Eastern oil, which, we don't really do a good job of going in there politely sometimes to get our oil. But nuclear power, if used and put together and managed properly, is excellent. And we got scared, with 3 Mile Island and Fukushima and in Russia. That was many, many decades ago. But we forget that nuclear is still being used a lot, especially with our submarines. And they have smaller nukes, not the big giant ones. So this could really help us, because the price of energy, Sherry, tell me if I'm wrong, the price of energy, of fuel, affects everything from real estate to lumber to food to transportation, the whole nine, huh?
Yeah. And the one thing you want to look at, like, for example, if you look at your electric bill. So yes, Governor Murphy shut down some of our power generating facilities in the state. So if you look at the electric bill, there's a portion of it that's distribution costs, meaning we have to bring electricity in from other states. And it's like 1/3 of our bill, which is ridiculous. And yes, to your point, nuclear has been used in the military, in submarines and different things since the 1960s. And it's been used safely. What problem is, yes, 3 Mile Island, it was a massive facility. It's different than what they're talking about. What they're talking about is small modular nuclear reactors. They're small, they're contained. You can turn it on, you can turn it off, just like you do in a submarine. Very, very contained. And by the way, all these AI facilities which need a lot of energy, they're all utilizing, or their plan is to implement their self-generating small modular nuclear reactors for those. And yes, they are very safe. And the technology has been there a long time. Unfortunately, those bad, like you said, 3 Mile Island and Chernobyl, they scare people, but they were way too big and they got out of control, and it's different. So yes, what we really need to see, the point is, we need to see our energy bills coming down. They are out of control. Everybody has noticed the increase in their electric bill. It's ridiculous. So yes, good to see this. It needs to be implemented correctly and safely, but at least they're looking at generating our own energy and not paying these high distribution costs.
And I never asked you, are you pro solar? And I know you're anti offshore wind, but what about solar? I kind of forget your position on that.
So solar has a place. But it takes a lot, like some farmlands are being bought out for big solar fields. One of the issues I have with solar is that you can't like recycle the solar panels and stuff, and they take up a lot of space, and then you still need backup energy to store what's generated on the solar, because it's not sunny all the time. So and their efficiency goes down. So it really depends, and it really needs to be utilized in the right situation.
I see more houses with them on the roof of a individual home.
Yes, there's a lot more homes that have them, and I think in that situation, then that makes sense, because they're not taking up like farmland. They're not big solar farms, for example, so people can utilize them. But I had a home, it had 4-year-old solar panels. You could not get anyone to take, they ended up in a landfill. No one would take them. The solar companies don't want anything to do with it. So there's definitely benefits, but there's some things that need to be improved with it, including recycling the solar panels or being able to reuse them. And that the solar company should take some level of responsibility with that.
All right. I think I'm exhausted. And especially with that last topic, we could have gone on for another hour talking about that, but we'll do that sometime in the future. Thank you to Paul Scollage of rate.com. Need a quote, refinance, call him, go to rate.com and say, get Paul Scollage on the line. And Sherry Lilienfeld, that's, she's right here. She's just over there. And you can reach out to her, and she can talk about recyclables and PFAS and where she's appearing next as Sustainable Sherry, Eco Superhero, or maybe you just need what everybody needs. God forbid, I can't believe people don't do this automatically. A buyer's agent, would you ever go into a deal, millions of dollars, and trust the other agent? Why wouldn't you have your own agent making sure that all the disclosures are disclosed? That there's nothing lurking beneath the surface, like maybe some tanks that nobody noticed, or maybe there could be some neighbors that might not have good drainage. Sherry has a background in engineering. She knows all the stuff that goes on. Margate and Ventnor, there's so much development. We sometimes lose track of what's going on. You need a buyer's agent, damn it. Just call Sherry, please. Otherwise, you'll be hearing from me.
Okay, you go get them.
And make sure, if you're going to price your house, do not let the realtor say, no, I can get you $5 million. You only want $4 million? I can get you $5 million. My competitor, I can get you $5 million. That's not good. That's called buying the agent. That's what we learned today. And also, if you're going to put a price tag, get comparables to say, what's my house worth? Do me a favor. Listen to podcasts with Sustainable Sherry on DownbeachBUZZ, and you realize you should put a listing price about 10 to 15% below market. You'll get the most amount of eyeballs, the most amount of calls, and they might bid it up. What are you doing? There's nothing worse than starting high and going low. You look like your place is poison. It's toxic. There's no relation to that Mel Toxic guy who's a pain in the ass. But do I sound like a realtor, Sherry? I'm thinking about getting my license, but that's only in a bad dream I've been having. Yeah.
I tell you all the time, you are a closet realtor. You need to get your license already. You are you're so obsessed with it, but good for you.
Because down here in this market, there is so much. This market, the Down Beach market, is the number one industry is not tourism. It's real estate and real estate related services. That is the industry. Mm-hmm. And when you can, I made some notes. You're going to talk to Kathy and Michael Collins, and you're going to figure out how to get all the landscapers registered and mercantiled, right? Thank you. To get that done. And then number 2, find out if Nacho Taco is open 7 days a week, all day long, if you can get that. And one more, how much longer do we have to wait for the park-like setting at the unpavable parking lot that you helped pay for? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for the assignment. Time to go.
This
was our half an hour. Wait, this was our half an hour podcast. It is an hour and 5 minutes.
And have I told you that Colmar Hardware is so damn good? It's like one of the world's greatest hardware stores. It truly is.
It is.
That's
and
the
everyone's
truth.
Very friendly there and very helpful.
It is awkward though when I go in there to get, some duct tape and some, industrial lubricant, which I often That's what they have. They have these things that you can. What are you talking about? But when I go in there, it's all weird because, if I look this way, I see Mayor Michael Collins. And if I look this way, I see the mayor of Ventnor, Tim Kriebel. So I get all freaked out.
It is confusing.
I'm not sure why you laughed.
Industrial lubricant.
Her name is Sherry, super real estate pro. Sherry, super duper realtor to the stars, real estate pro. My name is Sherry, super real estate pro. Sherry.